Assalamu alaikum. Hello my dear learners. How are you all? I hope you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I know you are facing the pandemic situation of COVID-19. I, Mohammad Bilal Hussain, lecturer, Department of English, Milestone College, welcome you to my today's online class. My dear learners, today's topic is transformation of sentences, affirmative to negative. Dear learners, it is your question number 6, transformation of sentences. You have to answer to 10 questions for 10 marks for this question. Okay, my dear learners, now let's start today's online class. Okay, we are starting with the rule number 1. If there is only in your sentence in regard to Allah or God or person, you have to write none but at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, number A, example, affirmative, only Allah can help us. Here is given only in regard to Allah. Okay, so your negative sentence will be none but Allah can help us. That means you have to write none but at the beginning of the sentence and then rest of the sentence. Okay, have you understood? I think you have understood well. Now number B, affirmative sentence, only the brave deserve this reward. What will be the negative sentence? Can you now tell me? Here is given only and the subject here is the brave, that means the person. So according to the rule, at the beginning of your negative sentence you have to write none but, then rest of the sentence. Then what will be the answer? None but the brave deserve this reward. Okay, my dear learners, is there any problem that you haven't understood? If you have any problem, you can ask me the question over my discussion. Okay, now rule number 2. Rule number 2 is also about using only. I mean, if you find only in any sentence and this only refers to thing, then you have to write nothing but in your negative sentence in place of only. Okay, for example, affirmative sentence, I need only money to solve your problem. Then what will be the negative according to the rule? You have got the rule that in place of only you have to write nothing but. So your negative sentence is I need nothing but money to solve my problem. Okay, my dear learners, now it is your rule number 3. It is also in regard to the use of only. This time we are using only for number or age. Okay, for number or age, if you find in your sentence only, then you have to write not more than in place of only. Okay, have you understood? For example, affirmative sentence, I need only 50 taka. So what will be the negative sentence according to the rule? Can you tell me? Here only refers to 50 taka, that means the number 50. So in place of only you have to write not more than. So what will be your answer to make it negative? Can you tell anybody? Yes, I think you can tell if you have understood the rule of using only in regard to number or age. So your answer will be the negative sentence, I need not more than 50 taka. Have you understood? Now rule number 4. This time we are learning the use of alone in regard to Allah, God, or person or thing. Okay, this time at the beginning of the sentence, to make it negative, you have to write none but or nothing but. Have you understood? For example, number A, affirmative sentence. Allah alone can help us. So what will be the negative sentence according to the rule? Can you tell? Perhaps you have understood. If you have understood, you can tell me the answer. The negative sentence will be none but Allah can help us. Following the rule, you have to write none but at the beginning of the sentence. Then example number B, affirmative sentence. Money alone can save me now. What will be the answer? To make it negative, at the beginning of the sentence, you have to write nothing but. Okay, then what will be the answer? Nothing but money can save me now. What will be? Nothing but money can save me now. So we have completed rule number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are going to discuss rule number 5. Dear learners, this time we are learning to make negative sentence from the affirmative sentence. If you find in your sentence every or all, then noun, you have to write there is no, then noun, then but. Following the rule, we can give you the examples. Number A, affirmative sentence. Every rose has a thorn. So at the beginning of the sentence, you have to write there is no. So answer will be there is no rose but has a thorn. Have you understood? Okay, number B now, affirmative sentence. All men are mortal. This time also, at the beginning of the sentence, you have to write there is no instead of all. So what will be your answer to make it negative? There is no man but is mortal. Here is very important thing that you have to observe. In the affirmative sentence, there is given all men and the verb in plural form are. As you are using there is no, then man in singular number, then but, then following man you have to write is. The verb will be in the singular number. So your answer is there is no man but is mortal. Clear? Hello my dear students. Now it is rule number 6. If you find in your sentence must or have to or had to, you have to use cannot but or cannot help plus ing or could not but or could not help plus verb plus ing. Okay, for example, number A, affirmative sentence. We must obey the rules. To make it negative, in place of must, you have to write cannot but. So your answer will be we cannot but obey the rules, or we cannot help obeying the rules. That means if you are using cannot help, after the verb you have to write ing. Okay, have you understood? Now dear learners, number B example, affirmative sentence. I had to go there. This time instead of must you are using had to. So to make it negative, following the tense of the affirmative sentence, in place of had to you have to write could not but. That means your answer will be I could not but go there, or I could not help going there. Have you understood? Perhaps all of you have understood my discussion. Now dear learners, it is rule number 7. using opposite word. For example, affirmative sentence, Karim is a good boy. That means to make it negative, you have to use not in the sentence. And at the same time, you have to write the negative sentence for the affirmative sentence. That means good will be turned into bad. So your example will be, Karim is not a bad boy. Have you understood? To apply this rule, you have to learn some words. I mean the affirmative words and their negative words. Good, bad, never, always, okay, intelligent, dull, wise, unwise, etc. You will learn these words from the list of your grammar book. Dear learners, now I am going to tell about rule number 8. If you find in your affirmative sentence always, I mean the word always, you have to use never. Then affirmative word will be turned into negative word. For example, I shall always remember you. Then what will be the negative sentence following the rule? I shall never forget you. That means in place of always, you have to write never. And then the affirmative word will be turned into negative word. That means remember will be turned into forget. I mean your answer will be, I shall never forget you. Dear learners, now it is rule number 9. If you find in your affirmative sentence the words both and or and, then in your negative sentence you have to write not only but also. For example, Helena is both singer and dancer. So negative sentence will be, Helena is not only a singer but also a dancer. That means in place of both, you have to write not only, okay, and then but also. Rule number 10 now. If you find in your affirmative sentence 2 this structure, in your negative sentence you have to write so that. I mean you have to apply this structure. For example, number A, affirmative, Hassan is too weak to walk. Okay, then your answer will be, Hassan is so weak that he cannot walk. But if you find in the past tense, that means Hassan was too weak to walk, you have to write also in the past tense. That means your answer will be, Hassan was so weak that he could not walk. Have you understood? If you have not understood, you can ask me the question. Now, dear learners, it is rule number 11. If you find in your affirmative sentence, as soon as then comma, then in your negative sentence, you have to write no sooner had plus subject plus V3 done. That means you have to apply this structure. For example, a number affirmative sentence, as soon as the thief saw the police, he ran away. Negative sentence, at the beginning of the sentence you have to write no sooner had, then the subject, then the V3. So your answer will be, no sooner had the thief seen the police, then he ran away. Okay? Dear learners, now it is rule number 12. If there is given sometimes in your affirmative sentence, you have to use not always in your negative sentence. For example, number A, affirmative sentence, we sometimes go to our village home. Then what will be the negative sentence following the rule? We can write, we do not always go to our village home. Okay, that means in place of sometimes you have to write always, and at the same time we have to make it negative. Okay, then next rule please, it is rule number 13. If you find in your affirmative sentence as soon as, in your negative sentence you have to use not less ... than. For example, affirmative sentence, Rana was as intelligent as Fahim. Okay, so negative sentence will be following the structure, Rana was not less intelligent than Fahim. That means in place of as ... as, you are writing not less ... than. You are applying this structure to make it negative. Now next rule please, rule number 14. In your affirmative sentence, if you find a few, in your negative sentence you have to write not many in place of a few. For example, affirmative sentence, I have a few friends. So to make it negative, in place of a few you have to write not many. So your answer is, I have not many friends. Okay, now the last rule, it is rule number 15. Okay, if you find in your affirmative sentence the word a little, in your negative sentence you have to write not much. So your answer, for example, affirmative sentence, I have a little money, and negative sentence will be, I have not much money. Have you understood? In place of a little we have used now not much. Okay, my dear students, dear learners, we are now at the end of the class. The rules I have discussed today in your class, you have to practice with examples. At the same time, you have to practice from the board questions. You know that now the COVID-19 situation is all over the world. So you have to stay home and stay safe. Best of luck.